What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to Wednesday evening's Anfield Agenda News Roundup, where we have a lot of news to get through. We're going to be talking about Liverpool's rejection of a bid for Luis Diaz. We're also going to talk about his wages and how they are significantly higher than everybody believes. We're then going to talk about a couple of departures and a couple of arrivals at the AXA training centre. A little bit on Jarell Quansah, who has now confirmed his move to Bayer Leverkusen. And have Liverpool really offered a three-way part exchange for Victor Osimhen? That and lots more to come over the next 8 to 10 minutes, but you know the score. I want to know your thoughts, folks. So let me know in the comments section. Drop a like on the video if you enjoy it. And of course, I'd love you to join me here at 8:45 tonight for the late night agenda. Before we get started though, from all of us, I want to say a massive thank you for helping Anfield Agenda become the second most viewed dedicated football fan channel in the world throughout the month of June. As you can see there, tucked in between the United Stand and AFTV in second place. And again, we wouldn't be able to do it without your amazing continued support. And from all of us here, thank you for that. It means the world. Right, folks, let's get cracking on the news. So, Luis Diaz is wanted by Bayern Munich. No surprises there. But today we had confirmation from Paul Joyce that Liverpool have rejected an approach from Bayern Munich for Luis Diaz. Max Eberl, Bayern's director of sport, made contact but was told he is not for sale. Liverpool's stance is the same as when Barcelona made an approach last month. More news on Luis Diaz though, and it's going to keep coming, folks, so strap yourselves in. Liverpool have formally rejected an attempt from Bayern Munich to engage over Luis Diaz, said Ben Jacobs. Bayern chief Max Eberl has been informed that Liverpool have no intention of entering any discussions or communications. They were ended immediately. It's the second time this summer that Liverpool have rejected an approach for Diaz. The first one, of course, from Barcelona. Interestingly, though, Al Nassr have yet to make an approach to Liverpool, despite viewing Diaz as their top winger target. Now, for what it's worth, some people believe that Liverpool would far prefer to sell him to Saudi than to a European direct rival like Barcelona or Bayern Munich, which I can understand. But what does that mean for his future? Well, I guess we're going to have to just keep watching, because I don't think this saga is finished just yet. So, Paul Joyce writes as well that Luis Diaz has 2 years left on his contract, and Liverpool have shown little inclination to offer him a new one. And that's where this all becomes a little bit confusing. We will move on to his wages in a minute, because there's been confirmation that they are significantly higher than we all believed. So another report here from Raj Chauhan said, Diaz being forced to Saudi or nothing, as they know they will offer the highest transfer fee, and then if he doesn't accept the Saudi move, he'll have to play the next 2 years on his ultra low wages. But that's not correct. His wages aren't ultra low, and more on that in a second. Paul Gorst of the Echo has said Liverpool have rejected an approach from Bayern Munich for Luis Diaz's talks, or as they continue to look with a move for the Colombian international. Barcelona also failed last month. The Reds' number 7 is seeking talks over a new deal, but has 2 years to run on his current terms. Now, sticking with Paul Gorst, he said the online suggestions over Luis Diaz's wage packet were robustly dismissed by Anfield insiders last year, and it is understood the attacker earns around £140,000 a week at Anfield. Now, I've always told you guys that I was told he was on higher than the 55 or 60 grand doing the rounds, but it was a little bit. We were told it was way lower than this £140,000, and this was by credible journalists. So I don't want to throw anybody under a bus here, but £140,000 a week, does that change the dynamic of this conversation? Because I've got to say, for me, it kind of does a little bit. 140 grand a week is a more than credible wage for Luis Diaz, and I think that's fair enough. And if Liverpool don't want to offer him improved terms, I can understand that. Like I've always said, I get Diaz's side of it as well. But £140,000 a week, or about £7 million a year, that's a fair wage in my opinion, folks. What says you? Now let's move to Andy Hunter, of The Guardian, who said Liverpool could strengthen their central defensive options for next season with a move for Marquinhos. The 24-year-old is a target for the champions, but Palace will need to reduce their initial £65 million asking price for Liverpool to secure his services. Now, with We've seen the fact that Kwanzaa has officially become a Bayer Leverkusen player today, so surely that means that Liverpool will now enter the transfer market for a centre-back, because as it sits, we've got Kanade with an uncertain future, Virgil van Dijk with a certain future, thankfully, and we've also got Joe Gomez. So I think it's fair to say we are short in that department, and I would absolutely expect Liverpool to get cracking soon on either making that deal for Mark Gay happen or moving on to another target, maybe Nathan Collins, maybe Jarell Haddo, but either way, we need a centre-back at this point. Luis Diaz valuation is well north of 70 million, writes Chris Bascom. So even if Liverpool did countenance a sale, and that is clearly not on their agenda, his price would make him one of the most expensive purchases of this current transfer window. Liverpool would have to find a replacement, and they do not want that on their agenda. So as you can see, I'm glad to hear that, because I've said all the way through this window, I like the options we have on the left side. Diaz and Gakpo, to me, give us a little bit of everything. So, again, it looks like it's going to have to be a huge offer. And on that, Moby Haig has said, important to note, the Saudi Ministry of Sport Financial Committee that approved/rejected player deals and contracts responsibility has, as of today, been handed to the Saudi Pro League itself. It took too long to approve player contracts in the past. Fabinho being used as an example, it will now move much faster. Saudi Reds telling me that new in Saudi media is the PIF has decided to increase the budget for the 4 big clubs, as we all know, from the 1st of July. Would not be surprised if Al Nassr got in touch with Luis Diaz, given Bayern are now interested. So expect that offer to come in, and that may be where Liverpool are finally tempted into doing business, if it's for the right number. Now, Empire of the Cop have the ones that have made the claim around Victor Osimhen that I mentioned at the start of this video. They say Liverpool have offered a swap package of Darwin Núñez, Federico Chiesa and £17 million for Victor Osimhen. The proposal is currently being evaluated by the Serie A champions, with negotiations continuing on additional cash demands. Now, for me, folks, if that is true, and I would take that with a big pinch of salt, Núñez, Chiesa and 17 million, that's more than fair, in my opinion. Chiesa, let's say 15 to 20 million. Darwin, 40 million. So that's what? 55, 60 million. And 17 million pound? That's up to nearly 80 million pound in total for the package for Victor Osimhen. I think if that is true, and again, I would take it with a pinch of salt, they should bite their hands off for it. So Georgi Mamardashvili, we've been talking about him. When are we going to see him in? Well, as per Georgia team, Georgi Mamardashvili will fly to Liverpool today, they report. Per my information, the Georgian goalkeeper will travel to England with his agent, Levan Sedurza, on a private jet provided by Liverpool. So, we may finally get to see and hear from Georgi Mamardashvili, and I, for one, I'm certainly looking forward to it. Right, we also got confirmation today of a couple of changes behind the scenes. Liverpool officially posted to say Liverpool FC can confirm a number of appointments within Arne Slot's coaching staff. Welcome Giovanni van Bronckhorst and Xavi Valero. Now, Xavi Valero may be a name that sounds familiar because he was part of the goalkeeping setup when Pepe Reina was at the club, and he has returned after, I believe, 7 years with West Ham. But where one door opens, another door closes, and you can find this on the Anfield Agenda account on X. Fabian Otta and Claudio Taffarel are both leaving Liverpool ahead of the next campaign. So, thank you, by the way, to both those gentlemen for their services in the goalkeeping department, and welcome back Xavi Valero, who will now be in charge of Liverpool's goalkeepers. Right, Miguel Delaney has said that Lyon have set a price of at least £51.5 million, which is in around €60 million, for Malik Fofana. Liverpool are one of the clubs who are in contact about the player. Then we heard from Jarell Kwanzaa himself, who said, delighted to sign for Bayer Leverkusen. I can't wait to give my all for the club and to meet all the fans. Sincerely, we all wish Jarell nothing but the best, and we may see him back at Liverpool in the future. But for now, he's a Leverkusen player, wishing him all the best on his journey over there. Right, Liverpool announced changes to the coaching staff. Former Netherlands international and captain Giovanni van Bronckhorst joins the club as the assistant coach after receiving his visa, so that was the delay there. And Xavi Valero returns to the club as the head of first team goalkeeping coaching. Moby Hake also said, as I suspected, Corriere dello Sport now reports that De Laurentiis, which is Napoli's owner, is personally conducting negotiations to sign Darwin Núñez. I agree with Moby on this part where he said he's a pain in the backside, asks for big money to sell his players but offers little to buy. Given he is involved, we will likely get closer to our ask. Wolves chairman Wolves chairman all the way. Go on, Wolves chairman. Don't know where I was going with that one, sorry. Wolves chairman has revealed that they regret selling one player. So he's speaking about Diogo Jota and says, of course, at the time, Diogo was injured a little bit too much. So he was injured for 2 months, then 2 months again or whatever, and not playing so well in the last 3-4 months for us. But he went to Liverpool and he did so well. And I was very happy for him. He was a very good guy and a smart boy. But if you ask me, I can change history. I wouldn't have sold him. Does that mean maybe we'll see an offer coming back in for Diogo Jota from Wolves? I don't know, but I promise you a busy video, and it was. That is it from me for now, folks. But as you can see, moving quickly today. So join us tonight at 8:45 for the late night agenda. If you want to get the news before anybody else, come to our WhatsApp community by scanning that QR code on the screen. And again, thank you for your continued support. It's been an incredible summer so far here at Anfield Agenda, and we wouldn't be able to do it without you. Look forward to catching up with you tonight. Bye-bye.